Court, I want to add to the calls for availability of treatments for both Friedreich's ataxia and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And I'd like to recognise the very brave patients and their advocates who've made this case here in Leinster House. Skyclarys is the first and it's the only approved treatment for Friedreich's ataxia. We know around 200 people in Ireland live with Friedreich's ataxia, and we know that this medication can slow the progression of their condition. We know that the company that makes Skyclarys has put the official pricing proposal to the CPU, and now the situation is fully in the hands of the HSE. But patients don't know how long it will take for the HSE to make this final decision. On the 26th of May, I asked the Minister for Health for a definitive timeline on consideration of Skyclarys for reimbursement. I know many patients and their advocates were really upset when it became apparent that Skyclarys wasn't discussed at the 10th of June meeting of the HSE's corporate pharmaceutical unit. It's really important that this process is completed as quickly as possible, and I would ask the Minister to do all that she can to ensure that Skyclarys is included on the agenda of the August meeting of the CPU. I'd also like to raise the approval of givinostat for people suffering with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. I've raised this, as I know many others have, on several occasions with the Minister for Health since EMA approval was granted last year. And last week, as we know, the HSE recommended the drug for approval, and this week the SLT signed off on this, bringing children with Duchenne's closer to accessing this particular medication in Ireland. I know the Minister has said that the timeline for children actually getting this medication will depend on both supply and the final approval steps. Again, I would urge her to use all possible influence to speed up this process so the children who desperately need this medication can avail of it. The approval of this treatment is welcome, but it shouldn't have taken this level of concerted lobbying by parents, by patients to actually achieve this. I know the Minister says decisions around this, around pricing, is not made by her personally, and it's rightly in the hands of experts. That's the right approach, but the issue isn't with the making of the decision. The issue is with the process around it and the time that takes, and a system that has become overly bureaucratised and one that needs to be streamlined. I know there's a review of that system going on at the moment. I think that review is really timely. I hope we get the result quickly, and I hope we get the changes that are necessary made to the system of reviewing approval for these orphan drugs, because patients and their families, they do deserve better.